Welcome to the Social Media Church podcast. I'm Nils Smith, and today I have a special guest. It is ChatGPT. I'm using the mobile app, and I just thought it would be fun to have a conversation with ChatGPT about social media for churches. And I can't claim this idea for myself. I actually got this idea from my friend Daniel Hall as we were just talking about it and how he's using ChatGPT in the voice and it's been an interesting development as you know I've been down this voice path for a while and helped churches create Alexa skills early on as Alexa was really kind of that first voice technology. It's kind of surprised me that they haven't been a big leader in this AI trend. We're very engaged in our home around voice and what that technology usage can be, but it's almost been more like just traditional Google search. And it's actually Siri was so early, but Siri was so limited from my perspective and what it can do and with the knowledge that it has, even the way it just pulls articles rather than giving you the exact answers to things. But really this ChatGPT, what they've developed around intelligence is fascinating. So let's have an interesting conversation. And I think this is also an example of how you can use ChatGPT, but I'm eager to see what kind of information ChatGPT can give us as to how we can better use social media for churches. So let's start by just welcoming ChatGPT to this podcast. ChatGPT, thank you so much for joining us on this interview, the conversation that we're going to have as we want to help church leaders with social media. And so we just want to give them some more advice. So ChatGPT, thanks for answering our questions. You there? Okay. Let's see if she's going to respond.
Hey, Nils.
All right. So she knows my name. Hey, thanks for joining us. So what's the best advice you could give to church leaders about how to maximize social media for their ministries?
Glad to be here, Nils. To maximize social media for ministries, the best advice I can give is to focus on building authentic relationships and community engagement. Share content that resonates with your audience, like inspirational messages, community stories, and behind-the-scenes looks at church life. Also, encourage interaction through comments, questions, and live sessions to create a sense of belonging.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much for that advice. Now I'm curious, what are the most important platforms that you see on social media that churches should be focused on?
You're welcome. The key platforms for churches to focus on are Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Facebook is great for community building and event promotion. Instagram offers a visually of faith and community highlights. And YouTube is perfect for sharing sermons, worship sessions, and other video content. It's important to consider where your congregation is most active and tailor your efforts accordingly.
Okay, I want to clarify too, those little hiccups you heard were the actual app in the voice. And so it wasn't just the hiccup in the recording. And sometimes that happens when we use it. So some of the imperfections that come. And thank you, ChatGPT, for that advice. I'm curious, one of the questions I get is how important are ads? Is it important to be advertising on social media, or can we just prioritize or focus on organic social media to get the best results?
Great question, Nils. Organic social media is essential for building community and engagement, but ads can significantly amplify your reach. Social media ads allow you to target specific demographics, ensuring your message reaches the right people. They're especially useful for promoting events, special services, or community initiatives. A balanced approach using both organic content and ads can yield the best results.
Okay, I agree with ChatGPT. I'm using GPT-4, by the way, if you're curious which model that I'm using of ChatGPT, if you're one of those nerds in this space. So, yeah, so she's basically saying, or it's basically saying that, yeah, you should use organic and advertising. Advertising isn't essential, but it can help amplify what you're wanting to communicate and who you're wanting to reach. So, good advice. Let's keep going. So when it comes to social media for churches, it's often hard to manage all of it with a lack of time. What are some of the best tools to just create efficiencies in social media management for churches?
Yeah, balancing time and effort is crucial. Tools like Hootsuite and Buffer can help by allowing you to schedule posts across multiple platforms in advance. Canva is fantastic for creating eye-catching graphics with ease. For team collaboration, Trello or Asana can help you plan and organize your content calendar. These tools can make managing social media more efficient and less time consuming.
Okay, so some great tools that listed there: Trello and Asana for project management. I heard Canva for graphic design. Definitely agree with all of those. It suggested Hootsuite or Buffer for scheduling. And now I would recommend Metricool or Sprout Social as the two best management tools. But yeah, maybe and I'm always curious to go back to Hootsuite. That was like the OG social media management platform. But yeah, Buffer, I'm not nearly as much of a fan of. But I also haven't used it in a couple of years, so maybe it's progressed since the last time I used it. But yeah, I'm curious. What else should I ask ChatGPT? ChatGPT, how could a church use ChatGPT to help them with their social media management?
Great question. Churches can use ChatGPT to streamline their social media management in several ways. First, it can help generate engaging content ideas tailored to your audience. Second, it can assist in drafting captions, blog posts, or even responses to comments and messages, saving you time. Lastly, it can provide insights on the best times to post and the types of content that perform well, helping you optimize your strategy.
Love that. Love that. So straight from ChatGPT, that's how you can use ChatGPT. So it can help you with ideas. It can help you with when to post. Yeah, getting a lot of insights. I definitely agree with that. And if you're not already integrating ChatGPT into your workflows now, I think it's in everything we're doing. We can be using a tool like ChatGPT, if not ChatGPT itself. So great advice. ChatGPT, another question around church leaders: what should they do with haters? When people start posting negative comments on their social media accounts, how should they effectively respond to those comments?
Dealing with negative comments can be challenging. The best approach is to respond with grace and understanding. Acknowledge the comment and, if appropriate, offer a polite and concise response. If the issue requires more discussion, invite them to continue the conversation privately through direct message or email. It's important to maintain a positive and respectful tone, as this reflects the church's values. If a comment is abusive or inappropriate, it may be best to remove it and, if necessary, block the user.
Great advice again, ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT, I'm curious about TikTok. TikTok has blown up in a very positive way, reaching a lot of people, but a lot of people are concerned: is it going to get shut down? How should they approach that? And do you think TikTok is going to get shut down in the future?
TikTok has indeed become a powerful platform, especially for reaching younger audiences with creative content. While concerns about its future have surfaced due to regulatory issues, it remains a valuable space for now. Churches should approach TikTok by experimenting with engaging short form videos that share positive messages. As for its future, it's uncertain, but staying adaptable and diversifying your social media platforms can help mitigate any risks.
All right, that's a good idea. Stay adaptable. Great advice when it comes to social media. ChatGPT, I cannot agree more. Now, ChatGPT, let's keep going down trends. What are some future trends that you see ahead for social media that church leaders need to be paying attention to?
Looking ahead, there are several trends church leaders should watch. First, the rise of short-form video content continues, with platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels leading the way. Second, social commerce is growing, with more people shopping directly through social media platforms. Finally, augmented reality, AR experiences are becoming more prevalent, offering interactive ways to engage audiences. Staying on top of these trends can help churches remain relevant and connect with their communities in innovative ways.
Okay, ChatGPT, let's talk about the augmented reality part again. How could a church integrate an augmented reality experience into their physical environments in their church spaces?
Augmented reality can add a dynamic layer to church environments. One way is by creating an AR app that allows visitors to explore the church's history, architecture, and art through their smartphones. Another idea is to use AR for interactive sermons or Bible studies, where participants can view additional content, such as 3D models or scripture references, by pointing their device at specific locations. This can make the experience more engaging and immersive.
As pastors and church leaders, you know the power of prayer. But today's busy world, it's not always easy to keep your congregations connected and supported. That's where our friends at God Listens Digital Prayer Wall come in. At God Listens, they can help you create a space where the lonely can find comfort, the seeker can discover truth, and believers can grow in their faith. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Imagine a place where prayer requests are shared in real time, where your spiritual milestones and journeys are shared and celebrated, and where your congregation feels connected and supported no matter where they are. Don't let the barriers of time and distance limit your ministry. Text WALL to 67101 to learn more about how God listens and can transform your prayer life. With God Listens, you can expand your church's reach beyond the four walls of your building, creating a digital prayer community that's always available.
Interesting. So, ChatGPT, how do you go about creating an AR app?
Creating an AR app involves a few key steps. First, you'll need to define the purpose and features of your app. Next, choose an AR development platform, such as Unity with Vuforia, AR Kit for iOS, or AR Core for Android. You'll then design your app's interface and AR elements, create or integrate 3D models and animations, and program the app's functionality. Finally, test the app thoroughly to ensure a smooth user experience before launching it to your congregation. Depending on your resources, you might collaborate with experienced developers or use AR development tools that don't require extensive coding knowledge.
That sounds really complicated. So you mentioned some third-party development tools that don't require extensive knowledge. What are some examples of those?
Absolutely. It can sound daunting, but there are more accessible options. Tools like Zappar and Blipar offer platforms for creating AR experiences with less coding. They provide drag and drop interfaces and templates, making it easier to design AR content. Another option is Adobe Aero, which allows you to create AR experiences without coding, directly from your phone or computer. These tools can simplify the process and make AR development more approachable for churches.
Okay, great advice. My advice would be kind of on the back of this is probably a little early to get into AR, but if you've got somebody in your church that maybe could get into that, could be a good project maybe for somebody in your college ministry or young adult ministry or youth ministry that wants to develop that. But would be really cool. And it does seem like that is where, especially where Meta is going with things. And so, yeah, it's an intriguing idea. No doubt AR is a big part of our future. Um, ChatGPT, is there anything else that you feel like church leaders are missing when it comes to social media and some missed, potential or opportunity with social media right now?
One opportunity church leaders might be overlooking is leveraging user-generated content. Encouraging your congregation to share their experiences, photos, and testimonies on social media can create a sense of community and authenticity. Sharing this content on your church's channels not only provides fresh, relatable content, but also strengthens connections within your congregation. It transforms your social media presence into a more interactive and participatory space.
So ChatGPT. So what I hear you saying is like when somebody tags you on Instagram, you could share it into your story, where it's kind of user generated content. One of the negative things I hear is, what if the other things on their account maybe aren't a good representation of your church, or their church or ministry? Should there be concerns about that, of sharing somebody's content where their other content might not be a good representation of their church?
That's a valid concern, Nils. When sharing user-generated content, it's important to be selective. Before sharing, review the user's profile to ensure their overall content aligns with your church's values. If there's any doubt, it might be best not to share it. Additionally, consider reaching out to the individual for permission before reposting their content, which also gives you an opportunity to build a relationship and encourage more sharing.
Love that. I love that. And I actually do recommend, and I wanted to share the concern that I hear when I recommend this. And that user generated content is a big opportunity because they'll feel more, it encourages other people to post and tag your church, but it also, I think they feel like they're more part of the church and the content you're posting. And so goes a long way when you share that user generated content, and it gives your platforms more content. And so, my friend Mike Todd calls it crowdsourcing social media. Back in the day, I remember us having a conversation, and I was like, man, that is genius. And so, yeah, this is a big opportunity, I think, for a lot of churches. Now, ChatGPT, I've got a question about hashtags. It seems like they're less and less popular. Should churches be using hashtags on social media?
Hashtags are indeed evolving in their usage. While they may not be as central as they once were, they can still be valuable for churches. Hashtags can help categorize content, making it more discoverable to those interested in specific topics. For churches, using hashtags can aid in reaching a wider audience and connecting with people interested in faith content. It's best to use them thoughtfully, choosing relevant and specific hashtags rather than overloading posts with too many. So, while not essential, they can still play a role in your social media strategy.
That's good. That's good. I mean, I think historically I'd see just so many people trying to use hashtags and just irrelevant hashtags and just making stuff up. And so, yeah, basically what ChatGPT is saying, they can be helpful, not essential. And I would say part of how they'd be not helpful is when you're just posting a bunch of random hashtags that just seems like you're just posting hashtags for no apparent reason. And so I tend to lean towards no hashtags unless there's a good reason to use the hashtag, but more good advice here. ChatGPT, I'm curious, what are the key metrics churches should be paying attention to determine their success on social media?
To gauge success on social media, churches should focus on a few key metrics. Engagement rate is crucial as it measures how well your content resonates with your audience through likes, comments, and shares. Reach and impressions indicate how many people see your content, helping you understand your overall visibility. Conversion metrics, such as clicks to your website or signups for events, are also important for tracking how social media efforts translate into tangible outcomes. Lastly, audience growth rate shows how well you're attracting new followers, indicating the expanding reach of your ministry. Balancing these metrics can provide a comprehensive view of your social media performance.
Interesting. Great, great insights. I think I might be out of a job thanks to ChatGPT as a consultant because this advice is so good, and it naturally the voice sounds a bit robotic. The answers are kind of formulaic, but the reality is this is really good advice, and I think the encouragement that I want to give out of this interview, and I'm going to go ahead and just stop it there. Is that ChatGPT deserves a seat at the table. And I remember having a conversation that really, I would say, was so eye-opening to me about a decade ago. I was at Life Church's offices, and they took me in this room that had all these dashboards and screens and metrics on the screen. And one of the things leadership shared with me is we believe data should have a seat at the table. It doesn't make every decision for us, but it helps us make better decisions. And the reality is we've seen more and more people paying attention to data and letting data help determine our decisions. And what I would say is now let artificial intelligence have a seat at your table. It doesn't mean it needs to create all your decisions. Doesn't mean it needs to define all of your creative, but let it have a seat at the creative table. Let it have a seat at the decision table. Let it have a seat at the educational opportunities that AI can bring into our churches and ministries. As you can tell, this is a very intelligent system, and I had a conversation. It called me by my name, and was pretty helpful. And one of the things I do, I keep ChatGPT open on my desktop all the day. I use the ChatGPT desktop app, and I use it throughout the day of like, what about this? Or you have any thoughts about this? Or how should I respond to this? And it's an incredible resource. It's an incredible assistant. And it's an intelligent assistant that is helping me navigate so many things. And so, yeah, I think this conversational AI is a great improvement by ChatGPT to continue to make it more relevant to us, because I think one of the mistakes that we've made with ChatGPT is treating it like a search engine that gives us better results than Google has, but it can be so much more than that. And I think especially when we go back and forth with it and have a conversation. So just like when I asked it about AR, it was like, create an AR app. And I'm like, I don't know how to create an AR app. So I could have easily dismissed that. But then I was like, how do you create an AR app? Well, it gave me a lot of, a list of ways to create it, but it was still too complicated. It was like, tell me about these tools. And I could have said, tell me about this specific tool. And tell me about how much it cost. And you can just keep going down as if you're talking to an assistant that already has this information because its intelligence base is so vast. Of the knowledge that it has from so many different sources that it contextualized this conversation for churches around social media expertise. And I believe it gave really great advice. Interesting to me, even, where I give my perspective of based on the knowledge I have around what are the best, church, social media management platforms. And I would suggest Sprout Social and Metricool. Well, it suggests Buffer and Hootsuite. Maybe those are better. I don't know. And I think at the end of the day, it's not always going to be exactly right. And it's not going to know exactly your situation, but the more you have conversations with it, the more it will probably customize that communication to you.
As a pastor and church leaders, you know the power of prayer. But today's busy world, it's not always easy to keep up with your congregations, connected and supported. That's where our friends at God Listens Digital Prayer Wall come in. And God does listen. that can keep and help create a space where the lonely can find comfort, the seeker can discover truth, and the believer can grow in their faith. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Imagine a place where prayer requests are shared in real time, where your spiritual milestones and journeys are shared and celebrated, and where your congregation can feel connected and supported no matter where they are. Don't let the barriers of time and distance limit your ministry. Text WALL to 67101 to learn more about how God listens and can transform your church prayer life. With God Listens, you can expand your church's reach beyond the four walls of your building, creating a digital prayer community that's always available.
So yeah, fun having a conversation. We'll probably have ChatGPT back for another future interview around specific topics, or maybe we'll just invite ChatGPT on to integrate into some other conversations and let it share its advice, having a seat at this table of conversations with church leaders about social media. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the conversation. I hope it encouraged you. I hope you learned a few things from ChatGPT, and I hope more than anything that while the knowledge that ChatGPT gave, I think it's more the integration of AI that I hope you're most encouraged and inspired by, and the action that I hope you'll take out of this. But I think user generated content, choosing the right church management system, and and project management systems, and prioritizing short form vertical video is what it recommended as a trend. All great advice that I hope you will take away. It is not wrong on those things, that's for sure. And then be thinking about AR integrations. I think is a big opportunity, because we think about our physical environments and how those can integrate with digital. AR, I think, is going to provide some really unique opportunities around that. So, yeah. Thanks, ChatGPT, for the interesting conversation and dialogues, and thanks everyone for listening to this episode. And we look forward to chatting with you again on the next episode. Thanks so much for listening or watching if you're on YouTube. See y'all.